I am Ain Gordon, and I'm a theater artist, writer, director, actor, and I'm here in Marlboro researching a new play called Not What Happened. Part of the collaborative research of this project is with Forrest Holtzapfel. Today we are walking around Marlboro and actually looking at where the buildings are, where the buildings aren't, and where the buildings were.
My role has been mostly to serve as a conduit of local history. Local history is all about layers, so we might go look at a mill foundation, but then you have to use your imagination to put together a bunch of the other pieces as to why was this here, you know, what did this function as. So it's really a process of understanding that local history is more about questions than answers. At one point, this building was used as a school as well because the elementary school was being constructed.
Much of my work is about history and about how history is a kind of ruthless editing machine that leaves out the sidebars and tangents and wants to tell a certain story no matter what. And I'm pretty interested in all the things that don't get told and that are not deemed important enough to be historicized.
First settlers that came was just kind of like, well, this is your right. You know, you have right 27.
Right.
And you show up and it's 360 acres and you find the best spot on it to build. Yeah, so the land kind of dictated where people settled.
Being here, I mean, it's all research. I can do it all from my desk in my life, but then I'm only going to write things from my experience. And something that sort of keeps me going is to be immersed in something I don't know. And when I started to think about writing this piece, I started to think more and more about the notion of artifacts, of evidence, and of rural America, which is not something I've ever written about before.
So this is Gerald Adams, who was the town's representative in Montpelier for a long time, but he was also moderator of town meeting. So someone did a nice job carving his name. I don't know if maybe it was him when he was a kid. I have no idea.
I am going to tell a fictional story, I think. It looks like it's a fictional story, but using... I'm particularly interested in, you know, there's a whole lot of vocabulary around sort of rural life and about, the story is set in about 1804. There's a whole lot of vocabulary that we don't use anymore to do with equipment and activity and food, and so I'm interested in, that's the non-fictional aspect I'm sort of researching, is that vocabulary, that life, that view, how long everything took, how silent everything was, how solitary everything was.
This being the Whetstone Inn here, it's one of the earliest buildings in town, and it was built by Deacon Jonas Whitney, and his brother Nathaniel. It features really prominently in the town history, and really the kind of creation myths.
And so the Whetstone, the original part of the Whetstone was built in?
1786.
If you set out with a clear goal, then you prove the answers you sought. And if the research that interests me is, I don't know what I'm looking for, so I'm willing to receive anything, which means I'll find something I didn't know.